Heifers, horses, and hoedowns is what we're talking about. Sure to put a smile on your face, there's no doubt. Just sit back, enjoy the ride, have fun today. Thank you for listening to Katie and Devon O'Day.
Doesn't that make you happy?
It does. It's the cutest little.
Thank you, Steve Smith. Steve Smith Music. Thank you for that great intro. I don't know how we got him.
You know, just God sends you good things every once in a while.
Yeah,
not every once in a while. He sends good things.
The truth is, you're sleeping with him, right?
Yeah.
That's her husband.
That's
her
man.
husband. And you never know whether he's going to be playing music or whether he's going to be using some kind of heavy equipment to get ice out of the pond. There are cats everywhere. I just want you to know you're going to have them fly through because that's what it is. Look at this little thing. Is that not the sweetest little thing? It's like, let me up here. I want to go over there.
They need to have their time too. It's okay. That's why with heifers, horses, and hoedowns.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's so funny because I've been talking today. It's so funny because I've had some life changes, and I think we're going to call this episode Before It Burns.
I like it.
I don't know. Katie, have you ever been in a situation ever in your life? Now, I know the answer to this question because I know you, and I know that any women in the world that we're talking to and any men have always been a situation without your control. Something happens and you realize, oh, this is awful. This hurts. This is terrible. Blah, blah, blah. And then you realize that God got you out of the barn just before it burned.
Yep. What seems sometimes to be, that's how I met Steve. It was this gentleman was just not being a nice gentleman that I had went on dates with. And at the time I was like, and that was the best thing to happen to me because a month and a half later I met my husband. So it literally was the best thing that ever happened to me, So yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if any of our listeners, if you are, leave it in the comments too, of the time that you go, I was running late and I kept dropping things. I kept forgetting things like, oh my gosh. One time I literally locked myself out of my house and I didn't have my car key to get in my car. And I was like, what am I going to do? I mean, I crawled over the back fence, went through the basement, found a spare key that wait a minute. I have that secret key that I forgot where I put, which is really secret.
Yeah, right. It's secret.
Yeah, secret. And then I got back in, but then I get on the way and I go, oh, there's a reason. And then there's an accident and you're not in it, whether anybody's hurt or not. I don't think that God says, well, those people, I kept you from this. It can be a fender bender and literally you're not in it. A fender bender makes as much of a difference,
Those are the moments that I've found, be like, thank you, Lord. Thanks God. Thank you. Oh, I see it now, because we can't see what he sees. So, we don't see it and he does see it. You got some stuff happening. They're growling.
That's because the Siamese cat that is in that's in our logo, Misha, she hates everything and everyone, including me from time to time. She's the old girl. Misha's like, oh, I hate you. I hate life. There's always those people in your life, whether they have fur or not. There's always one.
Someone always once told me, you can walk into, I taught my kids this, you can walk into a room with 100 people and 10 just off the bat aren't going to like you by either something you have, what you're wearing, what you look like, the color of your hair. It's just 10% of those people, no matter what, before you even open your mouth, are not going to like you. So Misha's one of the 10.
That's one. That's like, she's. I was like, I made up my mind about you. And here's something. I took a really interesting course. There's an app. It's called Smarty Me, and it's a stupid name for an app, but it really has some really good courses. And it's about bettering your pitch. When you meet someone, if you're a salesperson, if you're in any situation, did you know? And this is what the app taught me in my lesson today. the person that you are running into, meeting, or introducing yourself to, making via Skype, Zoom, in person, they make up their mind within 7 seconds whether they like you. Not whether they're not going to buy from you, whatever, whether or not they're going to continue a conversation. 7 seconds.
Wow. That's kind of sad in one way. In 7 seconds.
But then I started thinking, how do I make 7 seconds matter to someone I'm meeting for the first time? How do I approach somebody with 7 seconds and make them want to continue the conversation?
So what did you come to the conclusion of with this?
Be interested in the person you're talking to. And that's the thing
more.
that, yeah, there's a book by Jeffrey, and I think it's Jennifer. He has a like little black book of sales, and one that says your sales life will change. And whether I'm in sales or not, it makes a difference. Your sales life, your communication will change the minute you think of whatever you're doing as a service to the other person. That's Tillis. Tillis, do not. No, they've been asleep all day. Let's sleep. It's like.
Well, they knew it was the time for the podcast. They knew.
Mama's doing a podcast. Let's come on. It's like, let me show them here's what I can do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Tillis is in the background, very talented here, doing the acrobat. You must have been watching the Olympics.
That's it.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. But, interesting you say that about the 7 seconds. I do know with other things, we go into situations like that with an ask, like a need, and instead we should be asking them, what is it that, or thinking, what is it that I can give them of value before I ask from them? I think we ask before we fulfill that value, or that, that value to that other person in business. And we kind of have to change our mindset on that too. But look at us. So just so everybody knows, this is how Devon and I normally, these are our phone calls, and this is the randomness of our podcast.
And there's always a cat or a dog or whatever. You had a dog, our dog that's on our logo. Yes. Your dog had a birthday this week, right?
Yes, he did. He turned 10. So my dog's name is Savas, the German Shepherd. And that's interesting that you bring out the logo, because people need to realize those are all of our animals. Those are
as many as we could fit. As many as we could fit. There you go.
Yeah, on the logo. So Savas did. He turned 10. It's so hard to believe how fast time goes by. But yeah, my dog had a birthday this week.
I think that's so cool. I think that is really cool. Well, I am excited because we've got this podcast is just growing. We're just kind of getting started with it. Mm-hmm. But here's the cool thing about it is that we've got some sponsorship opportunities that we're going to be doing, and we will be moving to a new studio. I found a new studio, and we'll be doing it in the studio, because as much as I love all my cats, and we love our dogs, and we love the craziness, you can find that by just going to our Facebook page or our TikToks, and you can see our heifers, horses, and hoedown stuff. As we cover stuff, we'll be putting posts there. So you'll see that aside from the podcast. So follow us on our pages, follow us, give us some love. That's what we do. And because you'll get to meet the most beautiful little heifer in the whole wide world, because you have a little heifer that's so cute.
I have Matilda. I have the little baby, little Mrs. So my baby heifer, Matilda's baby, her name is Mrs. Bailey, and everybody made fun of me because I named my calf Mrs. Bailey. But there's a story. I am a Man from Snowy River fan. I love that movie. Just love that movie. It's my fave. So Matilda, if you know the movie, Matilda is my cow's name. And I'm like, okay, I have a Man from Snowy River theme here. Now I have a horse that's in Texas, and he went down there with the name Henry Craig after Jim's dad. Yeah. However, my daughter has changed his name to Pickles. I'm not into that. But anyways, and so now I have Mrs. Bailey, because there's not a lot of girl names on the Man from Snowy River. I could have named her Jessica, but my friend's name is Jessica, and I just don't want to yell at my calf like I'm probably going to this
Jessica!
summer. Yeah.
Like that rooster. Jessica!
Yeah. And also, there's a scene where Jim's looking for her, and she's over the cliff, and he's like, Jessica! Jess! And so my friend worked in my office, and when I would need her, I'd be back at my desk, and I'd be like, Jessica! Jess! She'd be like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I can't help it, your mom named you Jessica. I don't know what to tell you. So my calf's name is Mrs. Bailey.
I love it. And
Yeah.
I have a blind steer named Stevie Wonder, and I did not name him. That's how he came to me. And he was so little. He was 3 years old, but he was little, and he could fit in the pig yard. I mean, he literally could go through the little pig door and go through. He was so tiny at 3 years old, and now he could take out like a side of the whole pig yard. I mean, he's
Funny
huge.
how they grow, right?
They do, especially when you feed him like, I was feeding him. I didn't know. Somebody said, "Are you really feeding him grower stock? Are you like growing him off?" I said, no. And they go, "Oh,
Yeah.
I said, look, he's just eating. He's fine, and
He's just thriving. He
huge.
thrives. He thrives. Yeah. So you're where you are. I'm in the bus. So I came out to the bus. My house is occupied with family and grandbabies and stuff. And so instead of hearing all that commotion, I came out to the bus. That's why you see all this. And the bus is a throwback to 1989. So she's a beaut. We love her. She gets us to where we need to go. And tonight she needed to be my spot for
Hey,
this
that
podcast.
the bus studio is awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw a really great podcast done on a bus with Jelly Roll a long time ago, kind of blowing the whistle on the music industry. And I said, a bus makes a really good thing. And then my friend Eric Blankenship, who has All Access Coaches, he is not only a singer who's been on the Opry, but he also owns one of the premier bus companies in the world. And he does everybody's buses, and he had a podcast that he was doing on one of his buses, and I thought, well, that'd be a pretty cool place. Anyway, that's where we are. You are in 6 inches of snow world.
Actually, correct. So last night we just got more snow. So then 2 days ago I got about a foot of snow. But the good thing about this time of year, yeah,
A
I know.
foot.
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily a foot of snow on Monday. Monday evening into Tuesday. Easily a foot of snow. But the good thing about this, I call it March snow. We're not quite there yet, but it's March snow. So it goes away. It snows in the morning, and then the sun usually comes out, and then it doesn't last. The ground's starting to warm up, and things are starting to come alive and say, "Hey, it's springtime." But last night, the coolest thing happened last night. Not at my house, but at other people's in our county. We had snow balls, and they looked like donuts. Straight up fall from the sky, looked like donuts, and they were massive. So that's kind of making the news down around Baltimore. I'm about 3 hours away from Baltimore, so in the mountains. And it was it's like a phenomenal thing that happened. So that was last night's snow, this morning's snow. Now it's trying to get to 37 degrees today. So I'm happy. Spring is springing.
At
Speaking
37 degrees. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was 19 the other day, and I laughed because I was like, the difference between November, December, 19 degrees. In November, December, I'm bundled up. I've got like multiple layers. I got my Carhartts on. By the end of February, March, I'm going to the barn in my pajamas at 19 degrees, and I just throw a flannel on, and I'm YOLOing it out there. That's the difference. That's the difference. But I have to tell you this interesting fact someone told me today. I said, "Oh, I heard that someone saw a robin, like robin, you start to see the robins in springtime." And she said, "Yeah," this lady, I was getting my hair done. She said, "Yeah, I saw my first buzzard." And I'm like,
that's
"What
not
are
good.
you talking about?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, that's how you also know it's springtime." And I was like, "Well, I need an explanation about this." And she said, buzzards have obviously beaks, right? And they go after dead things. And she said they have soft beaks, so they cannot break through the ice or like frozen stuff. And they go away somewhere where they can eat, and they come back when stuff starts to thaw, and dead things, I guess, start to thaw. And so apparently that's, instead of robins, they look for buzzards. Have you ever heard of that?
Never in my life. I look for the forsythias, and I look for the pecan trees. In Louisiana, it's truly spring because you can have fake spring. Fake spring is when it gets all warm and there's another cold snap waiting to come. So you have things that pop up.
We call that March in the mountains.
Well, in the swamps, The pecan tree will never lie to you. The pecan tree, when the buds start coming, when the green comes out on the pecan tree, you know that it is spring, because a pecan tree won't lie to you. Unlike some people we know.
Yes. Yes. Will lie. Lie like they're going to sleep nighty night. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google. Now I haven't verified the buzzer thing, but I've also learned when mountain people tell you something, it's generally the right
It's
thing.
true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's a true thing.
That's
Yeah.
true. And I was looking for my little here's my little thing. My back to my 7 seconds. I wrote these down because I thought it was the coolest thing. I said the first 7 seconds, look at your attire, which I thought, okay, don't get a check on that. Because I will tell you, Katie and I, you can look at what we do on our social media, and there's just a lot of fashion sense that we share. But what I will say is we know how to clean up.
Yes. Yeah. So on my social media, I will not look like this. I will be probably unmakeup. I have no makeup on. When I go to Steve's stuff, I have my fake lashes on, and I have all my makeup on, all my jewelry, and my hair's done, and all that stuff. But normally, my horses don't care. My cow doesn't care if I have makeup on that day. So
No,
yeah, no.
they're just
But we do
looking
know how to
for
get dolled up.
those dog treats and horse
Yeah.
treats and baby treats. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
So clothes and dress to remember, dress to make. I always say it's interesting because I actually worked for an organization that was encouraging me to wear their uniform, and I said I need to be remembered, and I said I don't work at Pet Boys. They actually need to know me.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, that was this whole course, dress to remember. Direct eye contact is very important.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that it's very difficult. There's a certain age group in our world right now that has not had to make eye contact ever.
This is true.
And so it's a new thing. So it's a skill that you kind of have to practice. And number 3, perfecting your handshake, a good handshake.
A solid handshake. Yes, my dad was an advocate for that. Like, grab a hold of the hand, and it's solid handshake.
Yeah.
Just, there's nothing like, no, grab a hold of it. It's because I personally think a solid handshake is confidence coming through.
It's that, and it's saying, and every time you grab someone's hand, it's saying, you matter to me. This moment is important to me. I've made eye contact and I'm shaking your hand. Tactile touch, it's important. The next one I think is really important because our world now, you've been in those places where people, they see you and they're kind of looking around you to see if there's somebody more important that they can possibly walk up the ladder and meet.
Yeah, been there, done that.
We've seen it.
Roll
We
my
know
eyes
it.
about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, staying present. Stay present. That's one of the top things in that first 7 seconds. Stay present. You're looking at them. And I will tell you, don't stay present with me. Misha says, I hate you. Staying present is really important. And there is a former president who is in the news a lot lately that one of the things they always said of him is that when he talked to you, when he had connection with you, he touched he handshake, the other hand to your elbow, and looking into your eyes, and did not take his eyes away. And that was one of his keys to his charisma to people. Now, it's not a political issue. It was a communication thing that I always thought was really important to note. I'm not even going to say his name because a lot of people would take issue the fact that I even say his name.
Everybody's Googling right now presidents that grab the elbow. Don't tell me they're not. I guarantee.
I know they are.
But it's not a political. We're just giving
no, because there's always that person in your life who makes a good greeting and they look at you. Garth Brooks will always look at you. I mean, that's if Garth meets you, and he's known for that, and he has a way of trying to remember your name. He memorizes your face, your name, and remembers something about you. He that's because it's a conscious way. But staying present in that. And you think 7 seconds, staying present in 7 seconds shouldn't be hard.
That's true. But you know what? I have to tell you, like, it's really cool being in the music world, being the wife, because I get to stand back more and watch the interaction and stuff. And I will never forget when we were at the CMA Fest in the green room in 2014, I think. And I just sat on the couch. And it was this one green room, it was this massive room. And I watched all these people come in and go, and I watched the up and coming people. And it was just it would have been a great human experiment just to sit back and
Yeah.
watch, because people that were known in the industry maybe don't have the ability or the viewpoint that I had, because everybody's surrounding them and wanting to get their attention, right?
Yeah.
And I got to watch this happen, and then I got to watch them like snub my husband, and I'm like, note to self, okay, yes, no, no, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding, kind of, but
Kind of.
they,
I love
yeah,
that.
kind of,
Yeah.
not really, but it was interesting to see, and so that was long enough to see is that how many people there are no longer in the industry, like at that time, because they would be looking at someone and they would be darting around looking to see if someone else more important walked in the room. So
And our crazy
that was very
phones, and
interesting.
looking down to our phones, looking down at our phones.
Yes.
If someone is trying to reach you and you get a text and you're talking to someone in that moment where you're making, excuse me, I have to check this.
Yeah.
Make an acknowledgement that they matter, that you're taking some of their time to look at your text.
Right.
Other than staying present and not looking around, whatever, the last thing is in that 7 seconds, that important 7 seconds to make the sale, to make the moment where someone's going to like you or not, make people feel important. And I'm going, well, how are you going to do that?
In 7
you just
seconds.
met them in 7 seconds. Okay. I thought this was interesting. Acknowledge with their name. Say their name at least sometime as you meet them. And one of the things I've learned is I'm terrible with names. I will remember their pet.
Horrible. Yep.
I will remember their pet. I will remember like what outfit they had on. I'll remember something really cool. So that's what I'll always try to do, is have something that's so particular to that moment and to them. But I will at the end say, now say your name one more time. I'm terrible with names, so let me repeat that with you, because it's important to me to know your name. Now I may forget it, but I may forget it, but it takes 3 times usually for someone to say their name, for us to repeat it, for them to repeat it to us, for us to really put it in.
For it to resonate, right?
Yeah, and then another thing to show, to make them feel important, show interest in what they say. Oh, that's so hard for me. Honest.
Why is your mind going different places? Or are you trying to think of different things? And side note, it sounds like a 747 is landing next to me. And if that's too loud coming across, I'll turn it off. But
It's
apparently
not.
the heater just turned on, and I don't really know what button to push. I was told earlier, and I'm not really sure. I'm not allowed to push buttons on this bus, okay? So I just want to make sure. But why is that hard for you? Because are you just thinking ahead, or
I have a little bit of that thing that used to be, teachers would whop you upside the head for having it, but a little adult ADHD. And so
okay.
I have a tendency to go off, and I'll hear like one thing and it sends me off into thing. And in my head, I've got a mariachi band playing. So I try really hard to focus and show interest. And one of the ways you do that is you reflect some of the things they say. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Oh, really? That kind of thing.
Devon, if you start talking to me like that, all I'm going to picture is this little mariachi band in your head.
Da, 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 sing. It's all from the album Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, The Lonely Bull. Da, 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 da. Oh, yes, that's what happens in my head.
There's a lot happening up in your head at that moment.
All the time. And usually it's a mariachi band played by monkeys. But I digress.
Okay. We need that on a shirt. We just need
Yeah,
that on the shirt.
we need
Yeah.
that. We need that. But
Yeah.
show interest in what they're saying. But that's the thing that making somebody feel important is that all of a sudden, as you start sharing those things between the two of you, the thing that humans were created for,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a human, you're a human, we connect, we talk, and then it becomes genuine when you're actually there. And I don't find a lot of times everybody, sometimes I've been with people. I used to be at parties, and there's one guy at parties, one older gentleman at parties that would always find me because I would talk to him and try to be nice. But he would find a time while you were with him to expel gas, a silent but deadly. And then he would disappear, and then someone would walk up to you at the party, and it was like something died up in there. It's just like, I go, why does he always find me and do that? And it's like, because then he's like, oops, he'd go off somewhere.
He like crop dusted you and left you.
Yes. And I go,
and ghosted you. Oh
and so
gosh,
then
that's
I
so
started,
ignorant.
I was like, no, then I started like seeing him off in the distance and running and trying to hide from this person. So I didn't get crop dusted again. It was just awful. The last thing for the 7 seconds is positive energy. What do you bring to the party? Don't bring a crop duster.
I'd say apparently he brought the stink bomb. Like,
He did. I mean,
did he not like you?
No, he just could. Yeah, no, he couldn't help it. But I know he couldn't. But oh my gosh, it just seemed like it happened.
Maybe he just felt comfortable around you.
I know, just let her fly. David,
Devon
you just
won't
make
say anything.
She won't. She just makes everybody feel at home. They just poot right there,
She just makes me feel so relaxed that my gases just come on out for a visit.
Oh my gosh. And it was so embarrassing because, and it was like, I remember it was one party. It was at Garth Brooks's party that he was doing an album release or something. And
oh my God.
I'd been wanting to say hi to him because I did one of his first interviews when he came to town the second time. And I was so excited to see Garth again. And so he walks up about the time, farty
that you were crop dusted?
Yeah. And I'm going, oh dear God. And I said,
did you say?
It was the dog. I don't know what to say.
Oh my God.
I'm going, oh dear God. I said, it was not me. I promise you.
And that's the night that you got the nickname Dart and Devon. Make sure you dart Devon.
That's right. That's right. It's like, oh my gosh. What is everything ever? Have you ever been stuck with somebody at a party that was it was an awkward situation because you couldn't leave them? Uh-oh. I said it was so bad that Katie has disappeared off the face of the planet.
I dropped my ear. Sorry, it dropped, rolled, and went. Have I ever been to a place? Maybe in the beginning, but not so much now.
What's your exit plan?
Hey, I got to go over here.
So that's simple.
Like I'm not one to, I'm not rude. I am not rude. Okay, so here's an example. My husband is overly friendly. Like, I mean, not in a bad way, but he just,
yeah.
So I usually have to be the one to be like, come on. We were in a situation a couple weeks ago, and the conversation was going to turn to where I thought this is about to get uncomfortable. It's just going to be just uncomfortable. And I said, and my husband's just happy to be there, going along with it. And because this is who he is. He just has a good soul. And I was like, hey, I think it's time for us to head up here to the vehicle because of traffic and everything. We need to get going. Now, years ago, he would not follow that lead. Now he's like, yep, okay. And I just turn around and walk away. And I tell everybody goodbye. And then I turn and walk away because then he has to follow me. It gives him an exit. So I guess I don't, because I'm the reason, I'm the exit plan for my husband over all the years, honestly. Just like we have to,
so
go.
You're good at it. You're good at it.
We have to go.
Yeah.
I guess
You know,
that
my,
comes with that role.
yeah.
What's your exit plan?
I've learned that
Apartment?
I no, I say, could I pray for you?
They just scatter.
It's like,
Scatter.
bye. Why don't we go have a little word of prayer? And it's like immediate. It's so great. I mean, people's like,
That's a good one. I mean, because it's
yeah,
sincere. Because if someone
yeah,
said, yeah,
kind
you
of.
would pray for them. Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know,
No,
no.
you would pray for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pray
I,
for you. But you would
I
leave.
think,
No.
yeah, yeah. Dear Lord, let him have a nice drive home. Be safe. I think that sometimes especially in your world,
Uh-huh.
you get in those situations way more than I get in those situations. My husband gets in those situations more than I get in those situations. I've just learned to be the one that pulls people out. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, when I get the look, oh hey, can you come over here for a minute? I'm that person. I'm usually that person.
And here's the worst. I was on the phone with someone that I consider my friend and whatever, and we have these long conversations, kind of like you and I do. But she said, I just want you to know I'm setting a timer. And I said, okay. She said, I'm setting a timer because I have somewhere to be and somewhere to go. And, and basically she just said it. How do you say things without saying it? Basically, you talk too long. And
I
I went,
mean,
oh no, I'm the person they're trying to get away from.
oh, I've been the
I
timer.
was that person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how we got started our podcast. Because we realized we were both those people with each other. I don't think people realize when we say we talk, like Devon and I will talk like 4 hours. My family now says, oh, I'll see you in a couple hours when Devon and I
Bye.
go, okay. Yeah. They're like, or Steve will be, and I'll just be like, and it says Devon, and he's like, I got you. I'm going to
Yeah.
bed.
Because
I'm going to bed.
we find the minutia of life incredibly interesting. So if I've ever made anybody feel like I wasn't listening to you, to be interesting to me, I mean, it's no effort whatsoever. Because I find, it's like I discovered a bug and it was green, and I'm just like, what? I think that's incredibly interesting. So if you're boring to me, you really need to go to interest school, because I love everything. I love having conversation with people. I find people incredibly fascinating.
Now, you're Irish? Your heritage is Irish?
Oh yeah, Irish and German and Native American.
Irish. Okay. So yeah. So I'm the Irish.
Hide the liquor. Hide the
Yeah,
liquor.
the liquor. So the Irish is thick on that. What did you, okay, let's go down because we've never talked about this. How far back on the Irish side are you? Meaning,
Three
okay.
generations from Ireland when they came over. Great grandparents came over.
Okay, same. So what were their names?
It
Last
was
names.
for it was O'Ford before they got here, and at the island it became Ford. So they
Interesting.
dropped
Okay.
the O. So that, as far as they said, it was Ford and O'Ford, and But it really hit me because when I went to Ireland and I went to Belfast and I saw the Titanic exhibit, you could read the manifest. And there I found the whole family of Fords, and they were all firemen. In other words, they were the fuel of the ship, and they went down with the ship. And I was overcome with such emotion. I mean, I just started crying and weeping, and they were just trying to get to a new world. They finally
Right.
did, because I'm here, but
Right.
what about you?
McBride from
Ah,
Donegal. Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah.
Donegal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my great grandfather came over, and then he was here working in the
Yeah.
McKeesport, Pennsylvania area,
Yeah.
and then I think he was here for about a year, then went back over, and he had a week to find a wife. A week to find a wife, yes, and it was the early 1900s. I think it was like 1910, 1912ish, around there. Then he saw my great grandmother walk out from a factory, and that was it. And it was kind of like 3 days later or something crazy astronomical like that. My family will correct me when they watch this. They either got married or had the promise to get married. No, I think they got married, and then he had to come back over across the pond and work for a year to be able to get her over. Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting enough, my great grandmother was the first Irish immigrant to christen a ship, because she had all of her sons were serving in the United States Navy. So yeah,
Wow.
all of my great
How cool
uncles,
is
there
that?
were 5 of them, I believe, 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah, that's where we came from. And the Irish runs deep. I was like, that's where the argument comes from. It's the Irish. The Irish like to argue.
oh yeah, it's discussions. It's discussions.
Mhm.
If you go to a pub, it's public house, and it's where you have your opinions, you shout them, you get mad, then you eat and drink, and you love each other, and you sing, and you dance together.
So my dad, okay, my dad's passed away, but my dad told me I could never share this until he passed away. My mom, she's a short little feisty little thing, and my dad says my mom loves to shovel, because she would shovel snow, she would shovel all kinds of things, everything. And she doesn't want him to plow. She didn't want him to plow her driveway during the winter. She would go out and shovel this massive parking area in her driveway. She's crazy in a good way. Anyways, my dad said, well, right before he passed, it was months before he passed, he said, you know why your mom likes to shovel, don't you? And I'm like, I guess she wants to get out of the house. I'm not sure why. He said, it's the Irish in her. It's from digging all those potatoes. And I'm like, Dad. He said, you can tear that one after I die. And so it was probably maybe a month after my dad had passed, and my mom, they'd been together 50 years. And I was like, well, Mom, I can tell you this now. You know why you like to shovel, don't you, according to Dad? And she's like, no, why? And I was like, because apparently it's the Irish. You like digging those potatoes. And she's like, oh. I said, well, that's why I couldn't tell you when he was alive, So it gave her a good
You would have paid for that one. Paid for that one,
Yeah, you would have paid for that one. But yeah, that was my dad's theory. So I want to go to Ireland. I want to make a trip because I still have family over there. I have distant relatives, and then we've traced Steve's family back to Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be interesting to go to Scotland and Ireland, I think. And
well, I've taken 2 different tour groups over there.
Yeah.
And we might have to do it again. I
We
might have to call up Brenda Willis and saying, hey, we need to do another tour. That just stay tuned to us, because we've got all sorts of fun trips and things that we got planned. Our podcast, Heifers, Horses, and Hoedowns, we'll talk about music. We'll tonight we just really talked about, the impressive 7 seconds, the impressive 7. How do you impress somebody? And I think it's going to be fun. We're going to expand this. We've got Roxanne Atwood, who's going to join us with some really cool music things. She's our music correspondent, and we're going to have some other special guests. And
love that lady.
I just told a couple of artist friends that I've got that we were going to be doing a podcast, and I had a studio, and the studio that we're going to have, it's going to be really cool. Let's just say it's going to be really, really, really cool. And for people who want to be part of what we're doing coming up, and the sponsorships will be very inexpensive. If you'd like to help us with what we're doing and be a part of it, we'll talk about you and hold up your product. And if we like it, that's the other thing is,
if we don't like you, we ain't doing
it. If you're 7,
I like these
7
glasses.
seconds.
They're from the TikTok. No, sorry.
Hey, mine are from the TikTok too.
Mine are from the TikTok shop. Okay. Shameless plug here. I don't even get an affiliate link or whatever, but these glasses, I am not to where I need a 1.25. I need the baby glasses. Yeah. And they come in like 0.75, 1, 0.50. Like they come in all different. My husband does not like these ones. These are my extra house glasses, because he's like, really, Katie, can they be loud and obnoxious? I'm like, they can be. They are.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, they are. So they made it here tonight. I'm excited because we've both we haven't shared our lists yet, but with each other, but we've have like a dream list. I have like a list of people, you have lists of people, and we're going to smash her together and see what happens. I'm so excited about it.
If you guys have somebody that's on your dream list, between Katie and me, we probably know them. And it's any walk of life. It's authors, it's music people, it's ag people, because, there's some people I'd love to have Temple Grandin on. To be quite honest with you.
Oh, yes.
I know, right?
Yes.
I said, what is your dream list? So I want to talk to her. I want to talk to Bunny XO. I want to
She's
talk
on
to
my
Bonnie.
list too. She's on there.
And I
Yeah.
know we both come from this real churchy background, but what people don't know is Bunny XO does too. If we might
Yes,
get all Pentecostal up in here.
we might. And you know what? Listen, okay. We've talked amongst ourselves about these, about this different things. And I think I just watched an interview with her the other day, a snippet where she said she's not trying to glorify, she doesn't want to glorify what she did, and for her previous employment. I don't want to say it so we don't have to beep it. And that, and also people are calling her a role model, and her and Jelly Roll role models. And she said, we're just Christians learning to be, we're in our walk too. And I think that sometimes we as humans put people on just this high pedestal, and we need to realize and remember they're still people. Like, people are still people, and give some people some grace.
We're just
like,
humans
just
trying
give
to
them
all muddle
grace.
along. I always laugh. I'm just
Right.
really glad I'm old enough that cell phones weren't around when I was doing my really raw crazy stuff. I'm just like,
Right.
I'm just
I
really
commend
grateful.
Jelly Roll for what he did, when he stood up on stage and he talked about Jesus. Like, fantastic. You go.
I
Like,
know.
Jesus, God is working through that man. He took a whooping, and we talked about that in past. He took a whooping online for that. And I'm thinking, listen, are you kidding me? And that gets under, as my husband says, it gets in my crawl, because we as Christians are now beating up another Christian because they don't go in this box that we think that what a Christian is should be in this box.
Amen to
Like,
the
can
hallelujah.
we just all
Yeah, I
step
don't get it.
back a little bit?
I know.
There, and that's why I would say, like, even Jesus was, I want to preach, even Jesus was tempted by Satan. So nobody's perfect. That's why we have salvation and God's grace, and God sent his only son to save us. The blood of Christians, quit being mean Christians.
Yeah.
I will stand in front of God. You will stand in front of God. This other person will stand in front of God. And it's not going to be like, well, Sally Sue down the road, God, let me tell you what she was doing on Friday night that you don't know about. Sally Sue's the one that's going to have to stand for that. I'm going to stand for what I say and what I do. And the fact that man stood up in such a industry and said what he said. You know what I can tell by that guy? He's reading his Bible. He is in God's word, and he is walking his walk. And that's I'm done preaching now.
Everybody got to
That's
walk
the
they walk. Could I pray for you?
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, please. But since I know, y'all, I
No.
love to have Bunny XO on the podcast.
I know. I just think she's fascinating, and I think that I just find all people interesting. I really do, like I said, but very few people in this world have led such interesting lives, and I think that there's a whole lot of people out there that we could have on. I mean, I even if you are someone who would like to be on our show, and you might not be quote unquote famous, you might not have 1 million followers, but your story is interesting, be sure to leave us a message wherever you're watching this, because I ran into a lady at the grocery store. I was out at the L&F Foods when I lived in Kingston Springs, and a woman was checking out my green beans. I mean, she's literally just they're working. And she was talking. She says, "Oh, I know you. You're on the radio." And I said, "Yeah." And she was convinced I was Delilah. And finally, the whole thing in this little country store was convinced I was Delilah. And I said, I've been in radio so long. I was Delilah before Delilah was Delilah, but that's okay. Good. Finally, I could not convince them I wasn't. So I decided to just be really nice to them so they wouldn't hate Delilah if I was mean.
Right.
And she said to me, my story is kind of incredible. And I said, "What is it?" She said, "Well, I have 12 children." And I said, "Okay, wow, that's
Right.
wow."
That itself is a
She
lot.
said, "But I had 13 because I gave one away." And I said, "What?" She said, "I was working for a woman and I was cleaning her house, and she and her husband had just lost a child, and she was also informed that she could never have children.
Oh, no.
And she said, I went home and my husband and I prayed, and I said, well, it's very difficult for us to feed all of our children. She said, I could get pregnant. I could have children easily. It was never, she said, it's hard to pay for them once they're here.
They
But
brewed out at 9.
yeah, she said, so I talked to these people and said, I would like you to adopt my child. And she said, they were very wealthy. They had everything they ever wanted. And she said, and I think of my son. And she said, and I said, what did you name him? And she said, Isaac. And she said, I literally said, God, I feel like you're asking me to do something that is a huge sacrifice for me. And so we named him Isaac, and we said, God, be with this child and let it go. She goes, the mother they've all kept in contact with each other, and it's been a beautiful story. So that's what I'm saying. You don't know where the stories are going to come from, but I want us to have in our fun show, and we laugh at stuff, but we also have these poignant heart stories, and they can come from anywhere. Is that okay?
Absolutely. That's why when we were trying to figure out a name, actually, Devon you came up with heifers and horses, and it was Steve and Roxanne that came up with the end, the hoedowns. Because they both, because I was like, because we were like, well, music, no, that didn't fit, and we're going through all these different things, and Steve had said, well, what about heifers, horses, and hoedowns? I was like, oh, I can't name it that. And then a couple days later, we went to Roxanne's benefit, and I was talking to her on the way down. She's like, what about heifers, horses, and hoedowns? And Steve just looked at me. We're driving home, and he just looked at me, and he was like, and I'm like, then I called you, and I was like, okay, yeah. So it's.
And then I loved it too. Yeah.
I'm like, this is what we're supposed to be.
We're supposed to be, and everybody I know that's like, okay. And so we're going to have merch. We're going to have some other things. So just stay tuned to what we do. Follow us on social media, and we're going to sign off because we've gone a little bit over. We want to try to just keep it to a half an hour, but that's almost just darn near impossible for us.
We're doing fantastic at 47. All going on 48 minutes. To be honest with you.
That's a quick
3 hours. Covered it. I preached a little bit. You tried to pray for me. I think we should go. Yeah.
Yes. Well, our love and peace be with you, and also with you, and you, and you, and you. It's like, okay, well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are so glad that you're part of the Triple H. We are part of the Triple H family, and share us, be part of us, and leave your comments. And if they're nasty, keep them to your damn self, because we don't want to hear it.
Devon's prayer list is already full enough. She doesn't need anyone else.
You don't want me praying those bad verses out of Psalms about the heaping coals on your head or anything. It's like, oh no, don't want me praying that. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. This week, it's so funny because I've had, this has been one heck of a week when, you get the rug pulled out from under you, and you think, well, this is what I'm going to do. I was laughing. I was going, okay, if I could just make it to Medicare, if I could just get through this, whatever. And then you realize the thing you thought you were going to do every day, you don't get to do it anymore. And so I let it go. But all my passion for that, is still there. So I have some news that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks of a couple of new things that I'm starting. I've got a new company that I'm starting. And you know what? Before it burns, I always say, God always gets you out of the barn. When you're his, God gets you out of the barn just before it burns. And that happens. God removes us from situations, and we just follow the thing. Don't fight it. If something happens like that, pay attention, because maybe you're supposed to be removed from that situation. And my sister
1000%.
said, she shared this line with me that, of course, came from my brother-in-law, because he's precious and he's so wise. And he does a lot of speaking and stuff. And life's rejection is God's protection.
Oh,
and
that's
I went,
good.
Isn't that? So let's leave everybody with that. How about that? And think about the time that you've been rejected. Life's rejection is God's protection. Not what you're being taken from and what's being taken from you, but what are you being protected from? And I think that's where the joy lives.
That's a good one to end on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna think
All right.
about that one.
All right. Well, you guys join us next time. We're happy that you joined us this time. And hopefully you spent more than 7 seconds with us.
Oh, that'd be sad if they didn't.
I know, right? Right. Well, maybe we'll catch them on the short clips of this and they'll come back.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Bye.